Welcome to the Windows and Computer channel, and this is going to be kind of a rant video about updates in Windows. You know, one of the biggest fears of the user in Windows in general, and it's always been like that, is the fear of updates. Now, every operating system has updates. When I see somebody say, that proves how bad it is because it needs updates all the time. Every operating system is like that. It's not unique to Windows, and Windows does not have more updates than any other operating system. It is the same everywhere. I mean, Linux has weekly updates that are always there. Anybody that go crazy about updates, I mean, Linux distros, you get this little, notification that there's updates almost every day. Of course, Apple has updates, Android has updates, and iOS has updates, and of course Windows has updates. It's part of the operating system for all sorts of reasons. Updates are there for security, are there for bug fixes, and so on. And this will always be like that. It's impossible to do a perfect operating system. Anybody thinking that it's because, they can do things right doesn't understand what it is to do an operating system, first of all, and how to program stuff, and how it's impossible to be perfect. But one of the biggest problems that has arisen is twofold. The first one is what I like to call the background noise. So the people that are, of course, mad because something went wrong, and I will say it again, because a lot of people are on the impression that Windows is a bad operating system when there's updates. 95% of all the things going wrong in updates is not even Windows related. It's PC hardware, drivers, software, and the user itself. 95%. As a tech guy, one of the things that I had to do was kind of do a little detective work, if you want. You ask the person, well, what did you do? And they're going to tell you, well, I clicked Windows Updates. Okay. But then as you talk, you start noticing that, well, it seemed to take a long time, so I shut down the computer in the middle of the Windows Updates. Oh, okay, so you created the problem. And that's one example. And there's a lot of little things like that. A lot of, the crappy software that a lot of people install that are totally useless. I always say it, the minimum amount of software possible on your PC. Stop installing optimizers and cleaners, and it's useless, and it just adds to the possibility of something going wrong. But on the other side, Microsoft, we were talking about communications today, how they need to do better communications. There is one thing they need to do better also in that communications. One of the biggest things that is happening that I see right now is how there is a difference between, if you go on the internet and you ask for the Windows known issues. So, you go here to Windows 10 known issues. You will go to a page. So Microsoft has a docs page where it has the different version of Windows and the known issues with dates of, and it's by versions. On the left side, you've got all the different versions. One of the things that is interesting with this is how there's a few things that aren't necessarily here, but that are reported enough that you wonder why it's not here. And that's another problem of communications with Microsoft. For example, there's enough people noticing that the SSD drives in version 2004 does way too often defrag basically every time you restart the operating system. And there's enough people talking about it that I don't understand why it's not here, for example. Why isn't not showing up in the known issues? That's what I, and it's not the first problem noticed that is of high enough people saying, well, I've got that problem, that isn't showing up here, to kind of wonder what's the communications here? How come it seems there's the user and the way that things are happening on the user side, and there's the Windows Microsoft Teams side, and they don't seem to talk the same language sometimes. It is something that I don't understand. And Microsoft needs to do a better job also in giving us quality updates. It does happen a little often that they break something while they want to update. Oh, well, by the way, a couple of months ago, oh, by the way, the security updates of Patch Tuesday broke your printer. How can that be? We're not talking about breaking an obscure, weird device that, 25 people have. We're talking about they broke the printers of a lot of people and of different brands. Didn't you kind of see that you're breaking printers? It was not like you are breaking something unusual. You're breaking something that's bigger picture here. So there are little things like that that, of course, Microsoft needs to, I think, look a little more. And that's where I think they're not using the insider rings correctly. Because the insiders would have seen it and would have reported it. And they're, once again, I did a rant about, why do you need an insider program if you're not listening or watching or reading what insiders are reporting? It comes to a point where that is a question to ask seriously. And there needs to be more communications. Microsoft needs to come forward. Once again, like I said in the last video, they should have a PR team that handles different aspects of all of this, and including one that is, let's talk about the Windows updates this month. And so we know that some people are reporting this or that. It isn't making it better necessarily, but it is making it better if they are out there talking about, oh, well, we're aware of this situation. We're actually examining why this is happening. Rather than just, I've got this broken thing here and nobody's talking about it. Well, people are reporting it, but Microsoft's not saying anything. There needs to be a change in all of this if you want to make sure that things get better. We got to be careful, of course, because what I see personally, as with my knowledge, is also the fact that the majority of rants against the problems have absolutely nothing to do with Windows, and it's people ranting at something happening, but it's because of something they did, something they have, or like I said, the hardware from the manufacturer. That, unfortunately, that isn't helping. Also, the manufacturer is never going to say our driver's bad, that's why it's crashing here. Well, the manufacturer needs to, maybe get a little, a little slap on the wrist. I think Microsoft should be more proactive on that side and say, hey, HP, you're breaking this with your driver. Fix it. And we're going to say that it's your fault. They don't do it, and I think they should do it. But, like I said, Microsoft itself needs to also brush up and talk more about what's happening and be a little more open about everything. Because we have the impression that there's us and there's Microsoft, and it's two different worlds. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.